All right, Paddy, we're recording.
Beautiful.
Really short video today. So as you all know, we're doing a collaborative inquiry on student agency this term. And I know we've been doing lots of work on Blooms, and we've been asking kids about their interests, and which is a really cool thing, I think. Would you agree, Pat?
Yes, I think so. I think it's been very beneficial in just walking through different grades and things like that this week. It's really prevalent that people are asking kids what their interests are, what they want to learn about, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. And I think, so last week, when I think about our professional learning activities from last week, we all met with Andrea Hilbrick before school. So I see that as our whole school stuff. And our collaborative inquiry was just the recap of the masterclass. And so now this week, we're going to try and launch into a collaborative inquiry. And we always start with data about what our kids are doing. So that's what today's task is all about, is working in teams. And I've got that right on my part. We're going to do this in teams.
Yep.
So just working in teams to have a look at a task that we have done, and I think we're going to be diving back into remote learning. And so working in teams, dive into remote learning and then work out which levels of Blooms we have asked our kids to work at. And I've sent the email. Joel's taken us up. He has joined us.
Good job.
Yes. Am I the only one?
Perfect. So I think Paddy is going to take us through the task that we are going to do today.
For sure. So I'll just share my screen.
Yep.
There's the email we sent. So what I've done is I've just gone into, like I said, a task, or we're going to do a week of 5 lessons that I've done in remote learning, or that my team, the grade 5 team, have done in remote learning. We're going to look at literacy and numeracy. So just as a quick example, I've delved back into, you can see here, the 10th of August. So I'm going to work from Monday through to Friday. So if I just have we've done this task, so I know the task quite well, but if I want to click into it, I can see the learning intention and the success criteria when it loads. So this was just a game called Remainder Race, and some people would have already played this. So they're just using their knowledge of multiplication, division facts, and applying it to a game, to play a game. So when looking at this and comparing it to the levels of Bloom, so remembering, understanding, applying, analysing, evaluating and creating, I have decided that this will fall under the applying category, because they're applying their use of their multiplication facts and their understanding of it to actually play a game. So and then I would just record it on a template. Now I think, Gary, have you got the template there that you could show people where they would record it?
Yeah, how about I'll tee that up on the screen, and we were just talking before we press record on the thing you're explaining the actual game. Do you want to do that? Or
yeah. Yep. So just this game was Remainder Race was just a game where they've got a game board, and it's got all the squares have got different numbers on it. They roll a dice, and that's what whatever number they roll, they're dividing by. So I think the first number on the game board is 42. So if they roll, say, a 2, you know that 42 is divisible by 2, so there wouldn't be any remainders, so they wouldn't actually move. But say if they roll a 5, then we know that 42, if we divide it by 5, we're going to have remainders. So in this case, there would be a remainder of 2, so they would move 2 spots. Thinking about what they have to do in the game.
What was the game called again, Pat? I missed that.
Remainder Race.
Remainder Race. So yeah, so I think we've got a bit of an idea, just to give us a bit of context. So what the aim of this, asking everyone to work in teams to complete this task, is to, at the end of it, we're going to have some data about what is just a random sample, a random week, and it could be a different week, but it gives us something to maybe be able to start a discussion about. So thinking about Blooms, and we're just going to be looking at 5 literacy lessons, 5 numeracy lessons. So you'll have 10 lessons to look at in your team, and just have a quick discussion and work out if they were working at what level of Blooms they were working at maybe it could be more than one. I'm not sure.
Yep. So I would just put there with my first Monday's numeracy lesson, I would just put there in numeracy for Monday, applying for that lesson there.
All right. And then, so what are you thinking, Pat? You then go to the Tuesday lesson and see what.
Yep, go to the Tuesday lesson, again, do the same thing, have a look at it as a team at that task and decide what level of balloons that task is working at. So is it remembering, understanding, applying those different ones? And then again, there's no right or wrong. We just want to see what scope that our lessons are sort of covering. So, we know that they're all important, those levels of balloon. So all we're doing is just collecting the data.
Yeah, so I guess if I was, without you showing us every single one and dragging on for ages, we could have, at the end of the week, if you looked at numeracy, you could have 2 applying tasks, maybe 2 remembering, 1 here, and maybe there was one task that was really hard to work out one, so maybe they were working at a couple of different levels. So you might end up with more than 5 numbers in this column, even though you're only talking about 5 lessons, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Joel, does that make sense? Josh?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Righto, that makes sense. We've got our little feedback.
There's consensus.
We've got consensus. So this here, I'll pop in the email with a copy of the recording. Again, it's just a shared document. It looks pretty rough. I'm sorry, I just made that table now. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's only so that we can start to collect a little bit of information. Once all teams, and I need to add specialists here as well, so that some specialists can pop in what levels they're working at. Once we have all of this information, we can pretty up the data, and we're going to be talking about and touching on the data next week. And we'll either still be evaluate and diagnose, but pretty soon we'll be in a position where we start to set some goals for our collaborative inquiry. If there are any questions, shoot them through on the Google chat or the email. We're trying to use the professional learning chat room. So if you had questions to there, we will respond.
Sounds good, guys.
Anything else? Any questions, Joel, Josh?
No, mate, we're pretty good.
Nah,
Sounds
all
good.
All right, I'm going to stop, press the recording. Thanks.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.
What else is it?
Lisa.